Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Sarah Summers, and today we will be talking about getting the most out of your SigmaNEST Connect account. So before we get started, I want to go ahead and go over the control panel with you. The questions panel is either on the bottom or right-hand side of your screen, depending on your setup, and you can feel free to type in questions at any time. We actually have Andrew in here today to answer the questions as well. So if you would like to do that, that would be good. They'll either be answered at the beginning or during the webinar or at the very end. So this webinar is going to be recorded. So if you'd like to share it with anyone at your company or review it for yourself later, you can feel free to do so. You'll be receiving a copy of this recording within the next few days, most likely on Monday. So I'd like to take a moment to introduce Andrew Eilers and go ahead and give him control.
Hello, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Andrew Eilers, and I will be going over today's webinar about using the Connect site. We'll go over a lot of information and resources that you'll have access to with a Connect site account. So with a Connect site account, of course, you have to create one. To create an account, all you'll have to do is go to the connect.sigmanest.com website and click on the register here button as shown in the picture below, so that big red arrow there, and then just click register here. Once you click the register here button, there are 5 pieces of information that we will need from you. We'll need your company email, we'll need a username and password, and then your first and last name. The optional items that you can fill in here is the HASP ID. This is the 5-digit number on your SIM or HASP, however you want to refer to it. This is typically used for any version X1.4, SP3, and older. The other optional item is an activation key. This is the server activation key used for your license server. So any version of the software that is X1.5, SP0, and newer that uses software licensing will have this key. So once you click the register button, this is the page that you're going to see. As you can see, all of the information that you do need to fill in is red. I've already filled in the username and password, and that's why they're not red. So the first thing you're going to need is your company email. Now, with this, we are going to need a valid company email. So whatever company, in my case, it would be andrew.eilers@sigmanest.com. And the DNS part, so the @sigmanest.com is the most important part. That is how we're going to find your company and make sure that it is a valid customer. If you do go through this process and make the account and it says that you cannot find a company with that email, feel free to call into support, and we probably just need to add it to our records, that DNS domain. That way anybody at your company from then on can make an account. So the next thing is the HASP ID. Again, this is completely optional. So this is if you have that SIM or HASP. And then the activation key, which again, optional. And this is if you have software licensing. The login. So of course, put in a username. You'll make your password. Now the password does need to have 8 characters and at least contain 1 letter and 1 number. And then once you create your password, you just need to confirm it, enter in your first and last name, and you are good to go. Once you click the register button, it will send you an email to validate the email and just confirm it. And once it's confirmed, you'll be able to log into the software. So return back to that first page and just enter your username and password. And the next page you're going to see is the Connect site homepage. So from here, you're going to see a lot of different resources that you have access to. The support numbers in the top right, your name, so you can adjust any account information, changing your password and stuff like that. So with all the different resources we have, a couple that you have access to in that window is your cases, knowledge base, products, support, sales, and paying online. So going over cases, the cases page will let you see your previous cases, so it can see what you have open with support It will allow you to see the status, who the case has been logged under, as well as the date started. You can also look at close cases or create a new one. So there is that new case button that if you click on, it'll gather some information, who's logging the case, and then some notes that will be sent off to support, to where we'll make a case in our records to contact you and try to figure out the issue along with you. Now, a couple things that you'll see here is an ID. If you click on that link right there, that'll take you to any emails that have been between you and the engineer assigned to that case. So if you see the status is waiting for feedback, we might be waiting on a response. Typically, this will be sent directly to your email with the notification, but this is also another place of checking that. You'll also see the start date. Now, one of the cool benefits is that we do let you see your closed cases. Now, if you see a closed case and it's an issue that you consistently run into, no match in tech is probably one of the most common. Nothing wrong with the software, you just might be missing some of your materials, or it might be a new material that you're using, or maybe forgot to set an amperage or something on a plasma. You can actually click on that ID and look through the notes and see what the fix was. That way you can just come in here and quickly look at old fixes that you know you've had an issue with, and maybe write it down for later or revert back to the case to bring up that information again. The next option button that we had on the home page was the knowledge base. The knowledge base link will take you to our Zendesk web page. From here, you can search information on the basics of SigmaNEST to the more advanced options. So if you're a new user, you can get started with some basic information here. We do recommend getting some kind of training, either with our 3-day user training or training online with an engineer. However, if you just want to see some basics or you just want to review, you can definitely go in there and get some of the basics. Or if you're a more advanced user and want to see some of the options that are available to you, more nesting options that may have been added or that you forgot, you can definitely go into the advanced topics. Now, from the knowledge base, there's a couple different resources that we have access to. So there is troubleshooting. So there's articles and forums posts from which explain software features, giving troubleshooting solutions, or go over the basics of various functions. Another thing that you'll have access to is past webinars. So if you miss a webinar, it's not a problem. They are posted on the knowledge base. Now, the links that are in there will take you to the YouTube webpage for SigmaNEST. Some are embedded inside the page. Some will take you to the new web page on YouTube that we have, making it a little bit cleaner and nicer for you to roam around there. And we're constantly updating it all the time, so this webinar will actually be one of the webinars that get posted on the website as well. Another resource that's available are forums. So many of our customers will post questions or helpful information for other customers to see. So if it's something that they've come across and they want to make sure that everybody else knows about it, or if they have questions that they want to ask, they can ask on the forum, and once the question's been answered by one of our engineers, everyone on the forum can actually see that. So it's easy for customers to go through different catalogs of information and questions that have been asked maybe by other customers. Another option that we have and form that we have are feature requests. So this form is dedicated just for feature requests. So if there's something in the software that you think that we're lacking, that another software is able to do that we can't, or just something that, it's a suggestion that you might have, feel free to enter that information here. What we'll do is, if we have any questions on how you want it to work, or ideally how you can see it working within the software, we might reach out and get a little bit more specific information. And then we'll hand that off to our quality assurance team, and they will decide whether or not it's something valid to put in the software, or how we want to approach that. Another tab that was there was the products page. So the products page is where you can access downloads for the new and many old versions of the software. This is tied to your maintenance contract and will only allow access if you are on maintenance. As of today, the newest version is X17 SP2. We do, I believe, have all the way back to version 9.1. So if you want to stick with your version, setting up a new PC and you don't want to necessarily upgrade, you can definitely download those and install them whenever you'd like. Upgrading is always free of charge as long as you have maintenance. You just download and install. And if you have any questions on the install, feel free to ask us. Now, we don't do the install, but if you need help setting up stuff like that, we can definitely help where we can. One of the other buttons is the support option, which allows access to cases, products, and the Contact Us button. So the cases and products will act exactly like the other two buttons. The main one that has been added is the Contact Us. This will give you the contact information for support or allow you to open a new case directly. It also has a link for TeamViewer to allow Sigmatek engineers to remote in with you for further troubleshooting. So if it's something that we can't just answer over the phone, a lot of times it's easier to get in with TeamViewer and remote in and actually take a look at the issue. So it's very useful to have TeamViewer on your computer so that we can remote in and take a look. The other option that we have on the main page of the Connect site is sales. This is something that is going to be a future enhancement for the Connect site. This will allow you to see presentations, get demo sets, and view case studies that we have. And there's some other tools within the sales option that we are planning on adding. The last option is the Pay Online page. This will allow you to access our credit card processing portal. This will allow you to pay open invoices you may have for the software, projects you may have purchased, or other services you may have ordered. So custom reports, custom plugins, and stuff like that. This allows you to just pay online. It will ask for the invoice and purchase order number, and of course your credit card and company information, so we know who the payment's coming from. So that's actually it for the Connect site. It's super simple to use, a lot of information, especially with the knowledge base. You can search for tons of information in there, but this is a very handy tool for any SigmaNEST user to be able to find out new information, manage your cases, and stuff like that. The Connect site link is above. Feel free to head there, make an account. If you have any questions, please call the support line on the page, so 513-595-2002, and any engineer would be able to help out with that.
All right, that was a wonderful webinar, Andrew. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. But once we close out, it would be much appreciated if you could take our survey. After we do a webinar, we give a 4-question survey just to basically see how we are doing and what you guys would like to see. We can't provide content that you guys want if you don't tell us what you want. So if you could fill that out for us, it helps us provide content that is both helpful to our customers and helpful to our future customers as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar. I didn't see any questions, so I will give anyone who has a question about 30 more seconds if they would like. But other than that, I would just like to thank everybody for coming out today. And our next webinar is on one moment here. So our next webinar is actually on Friday, June 28th at 1 p.m. And it will go over applying a Wilson tool in SigmaNEST. So if anyone has any interest in that, it's open now to register for. So feel free to go ahead and register for that. I don't see any added questions, so I'm going to go ahead and end this here. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.